Okay, first of all, thanks for coming out. I didn't, expect quite the turnout, but obviously today is a special day. When we talked about the workout coming into this, one of the biggest things we wanted to do, Nate and I, was really push this kid, put him through a litany of tests, and we did that, and he responded very well. And obviously he's a high talent, but what really came out was he's also a really good person and really cares about how he does in the workout. And as we went through the workout, he got tired, but the one thing he did is he really pushed himself, and that's what we wanted to see, was whether he could really push himself and continue a workout and continue to succeed. We like what we saw out there. Nothing has changed our minds. And we're looking forward to the next workout on Friday. But Greg is a great kid. I like seeing him in a Portland Blazer practice jersey, and it was good to have him in here in our gym to see him. And then we're going to continue the interview process tonight. And he's a unique talent that to have an opportunity to get a kid like this is a great opportunity for our organization. So, any questions?
Kevin, Dan Christopherson from Point TV. Can you tell us what you've learned so far about Greg, both personally and also basketball-wise, maybe that you didn't know before? Did you learn anything new?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we had LaMarcus and Brandon pick him up yesterday. And then we talked to Brandon and LaMarcus about that. And, he's a humble kid. He's very, very humble. And as you interview him, you're going to get to know that. And our culture is very important moving forward, and there's no doubt about it that he fits our culture. He's willing to put the team first, and admittedly so, he said, I can do better. He kept saying, I can do better than this. And we watched tons of film on this kid. We know who he is basketball-wise, and it was really refreshing to see a kid say, I know I can do better in this workout.
For both you and Coach.
Okay.
Seeing him in person practice, do a little workout for you, what do you feel his biggest strengths are, and maybe things that he should work on for both of you?
I think anytime that you are, evaluating a big, the two things you want to look at is their hands and their feet. Do they have the footwork? Can they run the floor? Can they catch the ball? And we put Greg through a number of drills just to test that. His hands and his feet, as far as transition, running, sprinting, footwork in the post, as far as trying to play in traffic and making the proper moves in the post position. And he did a good job. He did a really good job of playing in traffic. Really good hand coordination was really good. And those are the things that you look for when you are evaluating the big. The fact that he can do some other things just add to his ability to be a special player. But he can run the floor. He's a good runner. He runs pretty easy, pretty smoothly, and has very good hands.
Steve Dunn, to you. Paul Allen, your impressions watching Greg Oden?
I think seeing Greg in person. He's I guess you're not just his size, but his amazing athleticism. I think we did a vertical reach test. I think he was up over 12 feet. Just the way he runs the floor, he's a very fluid athlete. I think that's very impressive. And then very skilled in terms of anticipation and rebounding drills and so forth. You can see the potential there. You have to imagine. One thing that the basketball staff does is they look at a player. I think he's just 19 years old now, and you imagine what he's going to be like if he was in our uniform 2 or 3 years from now, when he's got added strength and understands our system. So that's what we try to do. Is here. It's just not just about today's workout, but it's about you getting an impression here, certainly to verify what we think, but also. Our basketball staff has done a lot of work and research in the past, and then you try to project how he's going to develop. Because bigs take, I don't know what you'd say, Kevin, they take, to reach their peak, they take, he's going to be, in his mid-20s before he's in his peak.
And don't let Paul fool you. he's watched more film on Greg Oden than anybody in this gym. So he knows him well. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, I was just curious, considering what's happened the last couple of years, being the owner and such a huge basketball fan, how exciting is this for yourself to be in a position where the team can get so much better and you got great kids here?
Well, I mean, it's this is not just for me, but I think for everybody that's a fan of the franchise and our staff. This has been incredibly exciting. I wish I had an exciting anecdote to tell about the draft lottery. I actually I was in Europe and I fell asleep, and I knew we had a 5% chance to win, and I thought, well, we probably are 6, 7, 8, whatever. I'll just look at ESPN.com actually, and I'll see what it says, and it says Blazers win draft lottery. Something like did a double take. Like, wait a minute, am I still asleep? I didn't really see that. So well, this is this gives us an incredible opportunity to improve our franchise for the next decade. So obviously it's something we have to be extremely careful about in terms of our evaluation, and I think we're certainly doing that. But this is a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun to have the first pick in the draft, which certainly we haven't had since I've been the owner. And just anytime that happens with your franchise, you got to be extremely careful. But it's so exciting, and I think everybody here has sensed that excitement.
Kevin, with the litany of players and workouts you've had here, press conferences, how crazy is this right now?
I just turned to Nate and I was like, have you ever been a part of anything like this? It is amazing. Not only to get the #1 pick, but in a year that there's a high impact player makes us even more special. But, I've always felt that this community has wanted to embrace this team again. It may have stepped back, we may have not won as much, but in my opinion, we've got the best young coach, we've got a fantastic owner, and now we've got the third piece, which is a young nucleus of players that are willing to put the team first, have a chance to grow, and have sustainable growth for a long time, and that's what we want. And when you look at those three things, owner, coach, and players, we're there now, or at least we're getting closer. And I think that getting back to the community, I think everybody is embracing that, and that's what's fun, because when this town gets excited, it gets unbelievably excited, and you can hear it in our voice how excited we are. And I think it's going to translate into a lot of wins and hopefully a chance to win a championship down the line.
Kevin, the reports surfacing about maybe some health issues with Greg's wrist, back, knees, were those legitimate concerns, or any of those alleviated with the workout, physical exam?
I would tell you that everything is a worry for me. That's my job, is to worry about everything. As we go through this process, the doctors are going to see him today. We'll evaluate everything. We're getting more comfortable with it, but it's not something that I can answer that immediately. But as we go through this process, we will have answers on those.
That would be a factor though in making your decision.
I think it has to be. How big of a factor, I don't know. I think as we exclude some of the things that you guys have all read, then it becomes less of a factor. Does that make sense, Sue? Okay.
Kevin, you talked publicly about the importance of character. What stands out the most about Greg's character that you guys see?
Well, it's just not me talking about character. Paul and Nate, we all feel that how important character is to this team. We've done our intel research on Greg. Nothing changed out here. As a matter of fact, probably the one thing that really resonated for me was he's very humble. And he talked about, I can do better at this. I want to do better at this. And I think that fits with what we're about. Our new Blazers ethos is character, hard work, guys that are willing to scrap and put the team first. And we're putting those pieces in place. And Greg is that kind of a piece.
Nate, you guys watched so much tape, you knew what you were getting today. What surprised you most? Did anything jump out at you that you really didn't know what you were getting?
Well, again, the workouts are for the coaches, and I met Greg last year with the national team and had an opportunity to just go up and introduce myself, not knowing that I would have an opportunity this year to draft him. But these workouts are basically for the coaches to touch the players, you know, see them eye to eye. You know, our scouts have seen, you know, all the guys that we have on our radar screen at least 4 or 5 times. And, you know, this is their time of the year. So the workouts are for those guys to come out, for us to put them through a few drills and have an opportunity to meet them, talk to them, touch them. It's very difficult to do a workout when you're working out against yourself. And, you know, all of our other workouts, we've had 4 players, you know, it's 2-on-2, and it's still hard to see what a player is capable of doing simply because it's not in that 5-on-5 setting. So a lot of our work has been done through our scouts by watching film. And, you know, today, you know, just seeing him run up and down the floor, you're sitting there visualizing, you know, what you can do or what situation you can, you know, put this young man in, or what he can do for this team. It's a lot of things that he can do. It's a lot of things that he brings to the floor. And you know, Kevin has said this twice already, and I was sitting here thinking about it, humble. When you have a player like that, with that type of ability, that type of potential that is humble, and I really feel that, you know, his main concern is winning, you know, and I talked to his college coach and I asked him about the offensive end of the floor, you know, if he didn't touch the ball, how did he play? It didn't make a difference, you know, whether he had 2 points or, you know, 15 or 20 points. The bottom line was winning the ball game, and that's pretty much what I felt today. You know, if anything, is not so much a surprise as you know, just it's great to sense that from a young player that he has the potential. He's a very humble player. He'll do whatever it takes, I think, to help your club win.
Kevin, did Greg set the bar pretty high for Kevin coming in, would you say?
Yeah, I think he did. But I expect Kevin Durant to come in here and be an assassin. I think he's going to come in here. He's going to show everybody what he can do. And he's going to prove, or try to prove to us, that he's the #1 pick. And, you know, we've talked about this. We're in the position we want to be in. We can choose who we want. We don't have to have anybody else make the decision for us, and we like that. So we're going to keep an open mind. We like what we saw today with Greg, but we're going to keep an open mind through this whole process.
Paul, from a marketing standpoint, it's great to look at the website and you have, you know, these 2 top players that you have a choice from. The fans are getting into it in national media as well. How important is that to your franchise?
Well, obviously, you know, having the #1 pick in the draft, and as I think Kevin pointed out, it's unusual to have, you know, the ability to choose between 2 such amazing talents as we do. So that's a great opportunity for our franchise, and I think it's gotten the fans excited. We've tried to do some things to highlight, you know, these 2 players that we're focusing on with the #1 pick, and I think all that excitement just as Kevin pointed out, it's just building, and I think that obviously we've sold quite a few tickets, and I think we'll probably be talking about some of those things a little bit later on. But you know, that's great. That's great. It's not. There's nothing better than imagining, you know, now that we've got the Rose Garden back, to have the #1 pick in the draft, the, you know, opening night. That's going to be an exciting night. So I think everybody is feeling that energy and hopefully buying more tickets.
Kevin, you said that you're not afraid to go against the stream, you're not afraid to shock anybody. Would you acknowledge that if Greg Oden is not a Portland Trailblazer, would you shock to most of the basketball world?
I've been holed up in this building. I have no idea what's going outside of this building. Maybe I know a little bit. You know, we have maybe just a little bit. What's funny is that you know, we have our billboards out, and honk once for Oden, honk twice for Durant, and I'm just getting just a litany of emails, and it's just honk, and that's all it is, or it's honk honk, you know, and it's from random people. I don't know who they are, but you know, part of the fun of this is debating it out. We don't have consensus. There's not a consensus in there. We're keeping an open mind, and I don't think anybody up here will look at this as anything other than let's figure out who's the best for our team. And if it is a shock to the rest of the world, so be it.
Ladies and gentlemen, last 2 questions, please.
Dennis, is this 100%?
It's getting close. We'll know more today. Our doctors are going to be seeing him today, so we'll have an opportunity to get the report from the doctor. But he's cleared for full contact, which he wasn't during the season last year. He could not. He could play in a game, but there wasn't 100% cleared for his wrist. No, it didn't affect him at all today. And you know what? There's a benefit in that, to be honest with you, because now he really has developed his left hand, and that makes him a more potent offensive player.